Welcome to the Wild English Pakistan. Today we'll somehow look into the IC814 Netflix series, which was launched by Netflix India. It's an Indian production. As a counterterrorism and security analyst, I'll actually look into what this series. It's I actually watched it last week. Turned out to be a good series, but obviously it's too superficial. Just to give you a context, before this hijacking took place, this was General Musharraf's era. I'm giving you from a Pakistani perspective and as a counterterrorism analyst. Um, this was pre, obviously 9/11. The world was different then. It was less security cautious. You would see lax security at airports from US to Pakistan, and this was done from Nepal, obviously. So this was Musharraf who wanted, some sort of a jihad to be waged against India. He has done Kargil before. So the whole plan for the Pakistani security establishment was to somehow, there was this organization called Hizbul Mujahideen, which was under the Arab and Al-Qaeda influence, was primarily fought against Indians, had fought traditionally against Indians in Kashmir. They had this links in Afghanistan, and they got radicalized into AQ philosophy and was somehow lost the clout of the ISI at that moment. So you need to remember Hizbul Mujahideen, a pretty big, it was the biggest jihadi organization in Pakistan. ISI was not happy with that, obviously. So they needed another organization which was in their control or in our control. So IC814 was hijacked. Three people came out. Obviously, the plan never worked for Pakistan. And we'll discuss were we directly involved in this or not. So Masood Azhar came, and this Musharraf dream of forming Jaish-e-Mohammed came true, and Jaish-e-Mohammed was given in charge to people like Masood Azhar, of course. The idea was to have this over 500,000 jihadis to fight against India. 9/11 happened, and obviously the world changed. And after that, the same organization went out all against General Musharraf and the army. And so the snakes which we sent to India to poison Indians were now coming to bite us. And the Pakistani security or the intelligence doctrine, security doctrine changed, and not did we just get rid of Hizbul Mujahideen, but we got rid of people like Masood Azhar. Just to remember that Sheikh Atta, who came back, was shown in that IC814, came back to behead Daniel Pearl with Sheikh Khalid Mohammed, which was the biggest embarrassment for Pakistan. It completely ruins Pakistan's image. Zalgar is somebody we don't know or talk about in India, but he was more Kashmir-centric. We could talk about in 2611 since in that capacity later, but coming back to IC814, this was obviously there was coming back to the series, of course. So the plane was hijacked from Nepal, came to India, and when they were landing in India, what they didn't show the Indians is that the DGP police from Punjab actually was not informed about the hijacking. He got to know about the hijacking only by watching TV. And he was quite pissed off, and I've actually interviewed him later. And he said if he would be prepared, there would be an action on ground. But these are talks after the incidents. But he was taken aback, surprised. He didn't know what happened. So there was absolute breakdown of security from Indian part. Then the plane went to Lahore, and initially it was shown that rightly shown that Lahore didn't allow IC814 to land. It was correct. Then Musharraf allowed it, and then obviously it went to Dubai and came back to Afghanistan. Now, Brajesh Mishra was the Indian National Security Advisor. Your Ajay Doval, which is now the National Security Advisor, was the IB chief and was practically involved in direct talks um, with the hijackers. It was his plan, to be honest, which led them, which let Masood Azhar and others leave, which is obviously not shown in that movie. And just to give you an example, Masood Azhar was Ajay Doval's. On the contrary, Ajay Doval was Masood Azhar's handler. Uh, um, from IB, so he'd had a good connections with Masood Azhar to start with. So negotiations took place, and obviously, from a Pakistani perspective, it was absolutely not right to take these terrorists back. Hijacking itself on terrorism should not be condoned. Um, we took them back. That shows, bad faith and bad ill intentions on our part. So Pakistanis did take a blame, and we paid for it with these three snakes coming to Pakistan, and there was an increase in terrorism, which turned into 5 or 6-fold terrorism in Pakistan. We paid the price for it. But just to give you a perspective from the Pakistani side, the Pakistanis did change after 2001, 2002 onwards because these guys whom we trained to kill Indians were coming back to kill Pakistanis, and we learned the lesson hard way. So they've been, and the proof of the pudding was suicide bombing on General Musharraf himself, who barely survived. So, um, uh, so is this series close to reality? I think this is close to 70% of the reality. But what they didn't show was Ajay Doval's role um, in convincing the Indian security mechanism that to leave these three people. B, they didn't show they humanize obviously the terrorist, which itself it's true because you develop this Stockholm syndrome while being hijacked. They showed it. What's not being shown is that the DGP police, when they didn't know or was not taken into confidence, he knew it from the television that that plane has landed in Punjab, IC814. What they didn't show was that money was paid to these people by Indians, and there are a lot of nitty-gritties which is this is not the right forum to discuss. But obviously, coming back to the series is close to 60 to 70%, or 80% towards. It's a brilliantly conceived series. I don't know why they took Nasiruddin Shah or any of these actors to portray, but obviously Jashwant Singh was there. Um, and there, so the series is good. I don't know what's the fuss about this in India, because I'm sure if the directors would want, they would have shown Ajay Doval's role in that. They didn't show, and that's my review. So I would give you 8 out of 10 for this. A lot of minor details and major details not shown there, but I understand how directors work and how movies work. So this is Ali K. Chishti analyzing IC814 from Netflix. See you again. Thank you.